I don't need a gold-digging woman. You're a disgrace to my family. Get out.
When my sister informed her father-in-law Roy of their wedding plans, he suddenly shouted and threw water on her. Roy is a firm believer in academic credentials, and the moment he found out that my sister was a high school graduate, his already bad attitude became even worse. "Sis, are you okay?" Even as I panicked, Roy looked more relieved than apologetic.
For a moment, I thought she was highly educated because she looked so refined. But at least I've protected our family's honor.
Hey, Dad, what are you saying? Apologize.
Jack seriously scolded Roy for his outrageous behavior, but Roy didn't show any remorse. Seeing this, I finally lost my temper. I'm going to drag this man straight to hell. With that decision made, I couldn't help but smirk to myself. My name is Tom Johnson. I'm 33 years old this year, and I only have one sister, Kate. When I was 2 years old, my mom divorced my dad, so I don't remember my dad's face. My mom worked from morning till night to raise my sister and me. As a result, Kate, though only 2 years older than me, had been helping with the household chores since I was old enough to remember. Even though she was only a couple of years older, I remember her being so much sure handling household chores with ease. She was also good at studying, so the school and my mom encouraged her to go to college. But just when she was about to enter, my mom, who had been pushing herself too hard for years, fell ill and was hospitalized for an extended period. With our main provider out of commission and medical expenses piling up, we couldn't afford her college tuition, so my sister chose to drop out. She quickly found a job and started working full-time.
Tom, you're good at studying, so no matter what, you have to go to college.
She said this while diligently saving up for my tuition. Taking her words to heart, I studied hard and graduated from a prestigious state university. Kate and my mom were overjoyed, and once I started earning money, I did everything I could to make their lives comfortable. Seeing my mom smile more often, I felt like I had finally repaid her for everything. Even after my mom passed away, my sister and I supported each other. Though we lived in separate places, we met twice a month to catch up. One day, Kate shared some surprising news.
Actually, I'm seriously dating someone, and we're thinking about getting married. He's a really great guy, so I think you'll like him too, Tom.
What? You're getting married, Kate? I had no idea she had a boyfriend, so I was completely caught off guard. But it made sense that someone as wonderful as her would find a partner naturally. And the thought of her finding someone she loves made me incredibly happy. I got so excited that I couldn't help myself. Where are you planning to have the wedding? And should I give my speech? Oh man, what should I say?
Well, Tom, you're getting ahead of yourself.
When she stopped me, I snapped back to reality and felt embarrassed. Oh right, I haven't even met the guy yet.
Exactly. Tom, you've always been a bit impatient. I'll introduce you to him soon.
She laughed softly like a caring mother, and I couldn't help but laugh along with her. Anyway, it's really great that she is about to take her first step toward her happiness. I decided to support her with all my might, but little did I know this would be the beginning of a tough journey. The day finally came to meet Kate's boyfriend. I arrived at the cafe where we were supposed to meet 20 minutes early. I left home early to avoid being late on such an important day, but I guess I was too early. Should I wait inside the cafe? Just as I muttered that, I heard a man's angry voice.
Hey, get out of the way.
"Oh, I'm sorry." I quickly stepped aside to see a burly man standing there with a scowl on his face.
Geez, don't stand right in the middle of the door.
The man went into the store, but something about the encounter bothered me. I wasn't standing right in front of the door. I was next to the utility pole on the side of the store. It's hard to believe I was in anyone's way. In fact, the man was walking at a distance from me, and he could have easily entered the store without me moving at all. Why did he bother complaining to me? As I was pondering this strange encounter, I suddenly heard my sister's voice.
See, I told you. It was a good idea to arrive 20 minutes early.
I turned around in surprise to see Kate walking alongside a kind-looking man.
Isn't my intuition amazing? Tom always gets overly excited and arrives way too early for important occasions.
Wow, that's impressive. The family bond is something else.
The man seemed genuinely impressed, but when our eyes met, he suddenly snapped back to reality.
I'm so sorry for the sudden introduction. My name is Jack Wilson, and I'm in a serious relationship with Kate.
Seeing him bow his head apologetically, I felt a sense of goodwill toward him. He didn't try to put on any airs. He seemed very genuine, and just from the brief interaction, it was clear that she completely trusted him. In fact, she was beaming with a smile that could light up a room, looking incredibly happy. I thought to myself, she really has found a good person. "Hi, I'm Tom, Kate's brother. I am glad that I could meet you today."
I had a feeling that you and Jack would get along well. I'm so happy to see you hitting it off.
Kate smiled as she said that, and we all entered the cafe to formally introduce ourselves. But just then, I heard a voice that I recognized from a few minutes earlier.
Oh, I can't stand this.
I looked over to see the same man from before walking out of the store.
I wanted to treat myself, but they don't have anything I want to eat.
He was grumbling loudly about something trivial. As I was thinking how troublesome it was to run into him again, the man suddenly glared at Jack.
Hey, isn't that the ungrateful brat who ran away from home? I don't want to see your face. Get lost.
His outrageous attitude was shocking, and I felt a surge of discomfort. Jack's face tensed up, and it was clear he wanted nothing to do with the man.
I never want to see your face again, so don't you dare come back.
With that, the man stormed off, still shouting. "Was that man your father, Jack? He mentioned something about being ungrateful."
Unfortunately, yes. There's a lot to it. If you don't mind, could I explain over some tea?
Sensing there was more to the story, we decided to go inside the cafe to talk. Jack is 1 year older than me at 34 years old. He started a startup with some friends when he was 30, and now he's serving as an executive. That's impressive for someone so young.
No, when we started the company, there were so few employees that I just ended up in an executive position by default.
Jack was modest about it, but with a new venture, there's no telling how things will go. Just because he's an executive doesn't mean he can sit back and relax. He must be a challenge every day. Then he began to talk about his father. His father's name is Roy Wilson, and at 58 years old, he's the president of a bank. Apparently, despite everything, he's competent at his jobs.
My dad had been drinking earlier. When he drinks, he becomes uncontrollable like that. So he never drinks on workdays. But he loves alcohol. So on his days off, he ends up like that.
Jack spoke with a look of deep gloom. If my parent had such a bad drinking habit, I'd hate it too. It sounds like you've had a tough time dealing with your father.
Oh no, Tom. It's nothing compared to what you and Kate have been through. My dad didn't approve of me starting a venture company either. He told me that if I chose the startup, I should never come back, and we've been estranged for years.
According to Jack, Roy truly believes that those who attend prestigious universities, enter large corporations, and climb the corporate ladder are the highest caliber of people. Because of this, Jack was pushed to study hard from a young age, and Roy decided all of his schools. When it came time to get a job, Roy didn't allow anything other than a large corporation, and starting a risky business was out of the question. Jack's mother passed away when he was 5, leaving no one to intervene. After saying all this, Jack let out a deep sigh.
I felt a strong sense of doubt about living a life controlled by my dad. So when I turned 30, I wanted to finally live according to my own will. But no matter how much I tried to explain, my dad just wouldn't understand and now sees me as a traitor.
Roy seems like a real handful, but ever since Jack started his own company, he completely cut ties with Roy and hasn't been back home even once. Even today, they only ran into each other by chance, and it seems like Jack has no intention of getting involved with him again. In that case, Roy probably won't cause any more trouble for Kate, so I felt somewhat relieved. After that, we switched topics, had a lively conversation for about an hour, and decided to call it a day. We were able to get along, but it was still just the first day we met. As the brother of his girlfriend, I figured he might be feeling some pressure, and it would be rude to keep him around for too long. Please continue to support my sister Kate.
Sure, we will support each other.
We exchanged cheerful greetings in front of the store and were about to go our separate ways. But just then, Roy showed up again.
Hey, Jack.
Why is he coming back after he already left? As I was thinking that, Roy started spouting nonsense.
That guy and girl next to Jack, they're not part of your startup, are they? You've dragged my son down a bad path.
I'm just an acquaintance of Jack, not a business partner. I tried to explain and distance myself, but Roy wouldn't back down.
Then how do you know him? You were just talking for a while in the cafe, weren't you? You're more than just acquaintances.
At that moment, Kate stepped forward.
I'm in a serious relationship with Jack, and we're considering marriage. This is my brother. Is there a problem?
She spoke calmly, but you could tell just by looking at her eyes that she was furious. Jack clearly values his colleagues at work, so Roy's comments must have hurt him deeply. In fact, he was glaring at Roy with a look of deep pain. Kate couldn't stand it and raised her voice in anger on his behalf. This had turned into an awful introduction for their marriage. Roy then gave Kate a long, scrutinizing look and asked,
So, what university did you graduate from?
I only have a high school diploma. I had to drop out of college due to family circumstances.
When Kate said this clearly, Roy pursed his lips, furrowed his brow, and made a thoroughly displeased face.
So, because I'm a bank president, you thought you could just marry for money, huh? All high school graduates must be like that.
With those rude remarks, Roy suddenly ran off somewhere at full speed. It's clear he's obsessed with academic credentials, and knowing Kate only graduated from high school clearly didn't sit well with him. But why did he run off? Was he so angry that he decided to leave? As these questions swirled in my mind, Roy reached a vending machine. He bought a bottle of water and started coming back. I was more confused than ever about what he was planning. Then, Roy unscrewed the bottle cap and threw the water all over my sister out of nowhere. Her makeup, which she had clearly put more effort into today, and her brand new clothes were soaked, leaving her in a pitiful state. But Roy showed no remorse.
I don't need a gold-digging woman. You're a disgrace to my family. Get out.
And with that, he hurled yet another insult. Kate, are you okay? Even as I panicked, Roy looked more relieved than apologetic.
Because she looked so refined, I thought she was highly educated at first. But at least I've protected our family's honor.
Hey, Dad, what are you saying? Apologize.
Jack seriously scolded Roy, but it had no effect. Seeing this, I finally lost my temper. I'm going to drag this man straight to hell. With that decision made, I couldn't help but smirk to myself. Hey, which bank are you the president of? Before I knew it, those words slipped out of my mouth. Apparently, Roy found that incredibly offensive.
You? Who do you think you're talking to? I'm the head of a major bank, you know.
He retorted, puffing himself up like a tyrant in a very unbecoming manner. I managed to suppress my boiling anger and pressed him further. Your rudeness got to me, and my tone became harsh. Can you just answer my question honestly? Sensing something off in my demeanor, Roy's face froze slightly, though he still tried to maintain his arrogance.
So what if I did? It's that bank right over there.
He angrily pointed to the sign of a local bank. I knew it. I had a feeling there was some mistake. I glared at Roy with all the fury I could muster. But Roy seemed to think I was bluffing.
Hey, stop talking nonsense. You're just trying to shake me up with your big talk.
No, unfortunately, that's not the case. I shook my head and handed him my business card. My name is Tom Johnson. You must be familiar with it, right? In the next moment, Roy's face turned pale.
Really? You're the Tom Johnson?
That's right. I have an account at your bank. Knowing my true identity, Roy turned even paler. The truth is, I'm the CEO of a rapidly growing company. I've deposited a massive amount of money in Roy's bank, and I've been a valued customer for some time. I know your face and name, Roy, as the head of the bank, but your attitude was so different from what I've seen before that I considered the possibility you were someone else. That's why I asked for the bank's name to confirm your identity.
No, this is a terrible mistake.
Roy started bowing repeatedly, but it was already too late. I can't trust a bank with someone like you in charge. I'll be moving all the funds from our corporate account to another bank, my personal account too.
Wait, we're talking about a sum exceeding millions of dollars.
Roy clung to me, crying out in desperation. But I didn't feel even the slightest bit of my sympathy. It's absurd to forget the face of an important client. You must have a habit of looking down on people.
No, absolutely not.
Roy frantically shook his head in denial.
I didn't forget your face. I just didn't recognize you because you look different today.
Since I was meeting Kate's boyfriend, I had taken off my usual glasses, slicked my hair back, and dressed in my most stylish outfit. To a casual acquaintance, it might indeed be hard to recognize me. If it were just a casual acquaintance, I might not have noticed. As I was quietly coming to terms with the situation on my own, Roy kept trying to make excuses.
And besides, I would never look down on my customers. I always treat them with my utmost respect.
But Jack suddenly spoke up with force.
That's a lie. Dad, you were always bad-mouthing clients at home, weren't you?
That's not true, Jack.
Roy tried to argue back, but it was clear he was panicking. I believe what Jack says. In any case, I can't trust a bank president who casually throws insults around. I'll be transferring my money now. With that cold statement, I turned and walked away. Kate and Jack followed me, both giving Roy a sharp glare before leaving.
Hey, wait.
Roy tried to chase after us, but he stumbled and fell hard.
Oh no, ouch.
I heard a scream, but I didn't feel like dealing with it, so I ignored it and went home. Since then, Kate and Jack's relationship has been going well, and I've been meeting with them regularly. It seems they'll be submitting their marriage license soon, and I'm feeling quite excited about it too. One day, however, Roy showed up at my office. He was making a scene at the reception, insisting that he had to speak with the president, so I reluctantly agreed to meet him. When I entered the meeting room, there was Roy dressed sharply in a suit with a serious expression on his face, a stark contrast to his previous behavior.
Actually, I was wondering if you could return the money to our bank.
As I had declared, I had already moved all my money to another bank and had stopped doing business with Roy's bank a long time ago. I had told the bank everything as it was, and Roy's misconduct was exposed, leading to his downfall. Honestly, I thought it was his own fault, but it seemed Roy was desperate to regain his lost position.
Please, if you could just forgive me, the bank might ease up a bit. That way, I might be able to regain my position as the president.
There's no way that's going to happen. What you did was wrong, plain and simple. Someone like you dreaming of reclaiming your position is just ridiculous. I answered, trying hard to suppress my irritation. Besides, I heard someone filmed you making a scene yesterday, and it's caused quite a stir at the bank. That cafe was in a secluded spot, but causing such a commotion in broad daylight was bound to catch someone's attention. Apparently, one of the passers-by recorded a video and took it to the bank. With that evidence, the bank had no choice but to acknowledge the incident, and Roy was immediately fired. The smooth transition of my funds was also thanks to that video, which made the bank realize they couldn't keep someone like Roy as the president. Despite causing so much trouble for others, you haven't shown any remorse. In fact, you haven't even formally apologized to me, though your employees did apologize on your behalf. My tone turned a bit harsh, but I felt no guilt towards Roy. After all, as soon as his firing was finalized, he cut off all communication. One of his employees explained the situation and offered a sincere apology.
I'm terribly sorry.
That's why I didn't hold a grudge against the bank. However, the fact that Roy, the one responsible, never apologized still bothers me. When I pressed him on it, Roy began to sweat nervously.
Well, losing my position was a huge shock, and I've been moving from one hotel to another.
I think the shock was much greater for me, Kate, and Jack. If you had the energy to stay in hotels, you should have done what needed to be done. And it's clear now that you have no intention of apologizing. You should leave. I spoke quickly, standing up from my chair.
Wait a minute, but
Roy tried to speak again. "I'll call the police." At that, Roy froze.
I'm sorry.
He finally muttered an apology and hurried out as if fleeing. I felt relieved, thinking I wouldn't have to deal with him anymore. A month later, I was on a trip with Kate and Jack. The wedding plans were progressing smoothly, and Jack and I had become quite close. I happened to get a 3-day break, so we decided to take a trip together. By the way, Roy hadn't shown up in the past month and hadn't contacted Kate or Jack, so it seemed the crisis had passed. Maybe he had completely given up on reconnecting with us. Our destination was a church that had recently become popular, known for a legend that couples who prayed there would be happy for life. After leaving the airport, we stopped by the hotel to drop off our luggage and then headed straight to the church. The church was even more impressive than it looked in the guidebook, and it seemed like it could really bring good fortune. A sign in the courtyard mentioned that it not